Let's see if we're on. Are we live? So I know. Yep. Yes, we are. Hello, hello, hello. Hang on a second to make sure that it connects good. Okay, looks like we're there. All right, stop this. Hello, 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 everyone. It is Thursday, the 28th of January. It's Thursday's Thoughts. I'm so glad to have you stop by. It's great to see you. I think there's a glare in my glasses, but I hope you can give me some grace on all my setup here. Okay, so tonight I want to talk a little bit about strengths. But before I get started too much, I want to say it's been a very good week. I hope you guys have had a good week too. Yesterday, of course, most of you know, was my birthday. And thank you all so much for the wishes. It was wonderful. I'm still answering back to every single person. So, and it was a great day. So this has been a really good week because yesterday was my birthday and tomorrow is my last day of radiation. Tomorrow is ring the bell day, last day of radiation. So I have, as always, I always have a lot to be thankful for, but this week I really have a lot to be thankful for, and I hope that you do too. So I won't keep you with all that stuff. We'll get on with what we want to talk about. So we're going to talk about strengths. And I hope if you saw the post and knew what tonight was about, that you took a few minutes to think about strengths. So let's see. What are personal strengths? Anybody know or willing to say? Well, let me make sure I check the comments. Hey, everybody. Great to see you. Okay, so personal strengths are the attributes that define us as individuals. Now, in a minute, that's going to seem really weird when I tell you something else. But they are the attributes that define us as individuals. Okay? So, can you tell me what are some examples of personal strengths? I promise there's a reason for all these questions. I like to start with getting you thinking in the right mindset. So, what are some examples of personal strengths? Any comments? Examples of personal strengths. Okay. Well, maybe nobody wants to comment. I love to read the comments. Okay, so let's just try a few of these on for size. How about being trustworthy, having patience, being disciplined, having respect for yourself as well as others? How about being creative? Those are some personal strengths. And if you think back a minute ago, the definition was that defines us as individuals. Well, how do you know what your personal strengths are? Good question. How do you know what your personal strengths are? Well, number one, you have to know yourself. So if you know yourself, you truly know yourself and where your heart lies, then you'll be able to figure out some of your personal strengths. Do not lie to yourself and pretend to be someone that you're not. Because sometimes people do try to convince themselves that they are or are not a certain whatever. Another thing you can do is ask a friend or a mentor. Ask somebody, hey, what do you think my personal strengths are? That's not an off the wall thing to ask. Maybe look back at your past attempts and failures and analyze where you went wrong and maybe where you can make changes to be successful next time, those would be some personal strengths. One of your personal strengths might be that you never give up on a task until it's finished. You never quit. Or you work really great with a team and you always boost everybody up. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. You can also use a free tool like a strengths test to help you. And I recently did this because I was really curious as to what the personal strengths were and which ones, based on the test, were my top 5 and which ones maybe did I need to improve upon the most. Because honestly, if you know what your personal strengths are, or you work on the ones that maybe you need extra help on. And sometimes changing one actually changes several. So there are 6 virtues of positive psychology. So all of the character strengths fall into these 6 categories: wisdom, courage, humanity, justice, temperance, and transcendence. Now, this is what I said was going to be interesting. There are 24 strengths that exist in all of us. So there's 24 strengths that are normally measured in psychology, and those 24 strengths actually exist in each and every one of us. So if you go back to what I said, what is the definition of a personal strength? It's the attribute that defines us as an individual. But if there's 24 and they exist in everybody, then how does that make me be an individual? Well, think about it. There's 24 and there are exponential possibilities of those 24. My top 5 might be 5 totally different things than your top 5. And the next person's top 3 might be the same, and my number 8 might be their number 4. So it's a combination of those things that actually make the difference. So why is it important to know your strengths? So it's important to know your strengths because it basically affirms that you are distinctive. You are this person. It also helps you focus your attention in areas that you excel and areas that maybe you need to work on. It outlines areas of improvement. It also increases your self-awareness. So why would that matter? So here's kind of where I'm going with this. For me personally, knowing the strengths matters because I am on a journey to bless a lot of people in any way that I can. Not that I'm any better than anybody else, but I choose to share my love, joy, peace, and happiness. And I choose to bless it forward all the time. So for me, it's a really big help to know what are my top 5 strengths so that I can use those to help do that. And then what are my, not necessarily my weaknesses, but which of those strengths are not my strongest, so I would know which ones to work on. So I'm curious for you, what would you say your top 5 strengths are? And if you list your top 5 strengths, like here are some of the 24 categories. There's 6 virtues: wisdom, courage, humanity, justice, temperance, transcendence. But there are 24 actual strengths that we all have a portion of. So maybe it's honesty or spirituality or hope or forgiveness, perspective, prudence, judgment, curiosity, humor, bravery, teamwork, creativity. There's 24 of those. So what 5 strengths do you think would be your top 5? And how do you use those every day to better yourself as well as others? Because you see, if you have a strength, which I believe your strengths are your God-given talents. So if you have a strength and you don't use it, then that's worse than not having the strength at all. Now, this is just my opinion, and you guys would have your own. But I believe that if God's given you that strength or given you that talent and you don't utilize it, then that's worse than not having it at all. Because I believe that one of the most important things that we can do is make the world a better place and help bless it forward and help people live a better life. Because to me, every time I bless somebody else, I get blessings back to myself. I mean, I feel like I've helped to make a difference and I feel like it matters. And so I believe that your strengths are part of your God-given talents. And you should utilize those to the best of your ability. So I'd like you to think about your strengths. Now, here is the place that I was on a meeting, on a virtual training earlier. And this is a place that you can go, authenticstrengths.com. This is a place that you can go for a free strengths test. And you will answer lots of questions. It's really easy to do. Click, 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 click your answers. And it will tell you, based on all those answers, the order of your 24 characteristics. It's really interesting to kind of look at that. So the 24 characteristics will also, so I can tell you, like for me, in my top 5, I have 1 from courage, 1 from humanity, 2 from transcendence, and 1 from justice. And that's in my top 5. So that tells me that wisdom is not in my top 5 right now. Courage is, so that's pretty much the only one that's not. Wisdom and temperance is not in my top 5 right now. So yes, it's a great place to go just take the free test and see what it says. Learn what your strengths are. Learn how you can use them to help yourself as well as others. And I just thought it was a very interesting thing, a very interesting chance to go check out your list of strengths. I would love to know if you're willing, if you take the test, or either if you're willing to just list what you see as your top 5 strengths. There's a lot of great information in here, and I probably will eventually do a video on this one of a different kind, talking about those different strengths. But I won't go on and on tonight. That was pretty much what I wanted to talk about, was just you all have the same 24 character strengths somewhere in your person, in your being. They're just in different, it's like a recipe. They're in different percentages and different orders and all that kind of stuff. So don't ever think that you don't have a strength, and don't ever think that you absolutely can't do something. Because if you start thinking that, then it's not that you can't, but it's that you won't, because you've convinced yourself otherwise. So you have the same 24 strengths as the next person that you think does a lot of great and wonderful things that you can't do. And never forget that for yourself. But figure out what your strengths are and figure out how you can use them to make the world a better place. So that's pretty much all I had for tonight, was just talking about the strengths. And so before I sign off, I had a thought about something earlier. You know how we talk every day about, or every Thursday, and I'll tell you, okay, have a great night and rest well. When you wake up in the morning, before your feet hit the floor, thank the Lord for all the blessings you've been given, and pray for all the people who need prayer. There's a lot of sick people. There's a lot of stuff going on, and everybody needs prayer. So I thought about this earlier in the week. Um, because sometimes people say, I just get so overwhelmed, I can't think of who to pray for. Well, I thought about it yesterday when I was going through all the birthday wishes. If you're on Facebook, every single day the little birthdays pop up. So even if you just started and you started now, and every single day when you see the birthdays pop up and you get ready to say happy birthday, say a prayer or blessing for that person that day. And if you do that every single day when you send the birthday wishes out, then by the time the year is up, you've prayed for every person that was on your Facebook that had their birthday in there. So it's just a great little tip or a great little way to think about blessing others and putting a little prayer in for them. So have a great night. Rest well. When you wake up in the morning before your feet hit the floor, thank the Lord for the wonderful day you've been given. Say your prayers for everyone. Know that you can work on those character strengths and go out and make the world a better place. Bless it forward, guys. See you next time.